Hello, eRank. Welcome to another Thursday live Q&A with me, Pam Duffy, and today, Starla's back. Yay!
Yay!
Hey!
And I'm full of pie and ham.
Good Thanksgiving then.
Yes, very good. Two of them, which I'm sure that those with big families can relate. You got to go to all of them, which I'm sure it's the same over there for Christmas.
Oh, of course, yes.
But that's great. That's great. All the foods. I hope you guys also got to eat all the foods for everybody in the chat. Let us know if you had turkey or ham. I'm not a turkey person, and Mr. Moore is definitely not a turkey person, so he had ham.
Oh, right. I don't like, for Christmas, we don't obviously have Thanksgiving, but for Christmas, I'm not mad on the turkey, but I like all the other stuff that goes with the turkey, so I tolerate the turkey.
Yeah. We do like stuffing and stuff still for stuffing and stuff. Stuffing still, we just don't put it in a bird. We eat it by itself.
Fair enough.
I don't like the idea of filling a bird butt with mushy bread. Just there's something about it that feels wrong.
Right. See, I think let us know in the chat. Let's do this thing anyway. I think more in England, stuffing is like mushy bread type stuff, whereas up with us, or what my mum's always done, it's like sausage meat and oats and whiskey and onions. It's really good.
Oh, it's stuffing or dressing?
Stuffing. It's stuffed up the bird, so it's stuffing.
I had both and more. That's Christmas. We do both and more for Christmas time.
Awesome.
Debbie had turkey and stuffing and an apple pie this year.
Ah, lovely. I love an apple pie. I've never tried a pumpkin pie. I don't know who I said that to a couple of weeks ago, and they were disgusted with me.
It's good. It's good. It tastes, have you ever had a sweet potato pie?
Nope.
Really? They have the same consistency and almost an identical flavor, but they're very good and very easy to make if you can get canned pumpkin over there.
Oh, yeah. We have a whole American aisle.
Canned pumpkin is in the American aisle?
Yep. Oh, I can imagine our American aisle would be an embarrassment to you if you looked at it. I'm trying to remember what's in there, but I'm sure it's... No, we have Pop-Tarts as regular food. Yeah.
You just have like boring flavors, right? Like cherry. You don't have fun stuff like Oreo flavored Pop-Tarts.
I have no idea. I was about 12 the only time I looked at Pop-Tarts. That makes no sense to me at all.
You're not missing much. They're not that great.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, guys, we are right in. Are you going to talk eRank? We totally are going to talk eRank. We are just saying hello.
Yeah.
We're not allowed to say hello, Pam.
Oh dear. Right. So yes, we could be all serious. Well, what we could do is we could do the silly talk, and we could do a little sneak peek at a tool that's coming up. We did this last week and people liked this. So I'm absolutely going to show you nothing other than my screen if I can find it. And then you can all see what you think about that.
We've got some great new gradients too. Even the homepage over at eRank is gradient. It's beautiful.
Let's see if I can remember. Do you know, it's only been a week and I was forgetting what buttons to press. Right, but just guys, this is what we did last week. We just showed a random screen and just, what do you guys think? But there has been so many changes this month. So yeah, have a look and see if you can figure out all the things we've changed on eRank. And what is it, on Tuesday on the newsletter we should have a roundup of everything that's changed, and we should have a video showing you all the changed things. But yeah, see if you can spot what we're showing here.
So tiny for me, not for them. They'll have to find it.
Yep. We're lots of rounded corners. Yes, we have been losing corners. Yes. 2023 is going to be a smooth year.
It's nice.
It's not the corgi butt, by the way, but thank you. Look to the right of the corgi butt.
What is that? What is that big thing? That big glaring thing? The thing that's different? The thing you've never seen before. I think you'll just have to tell him, Pam.
And well, we did show one screen of the eRank Sidekick, our little gonna be extension-y thing, last week, and then this is just a different one. And yeah, basically, I think it's Starla and Brian and myself and all of our fault that it's taking so long, because every time we get shown it, we go, oh, it would be cool if that could get added, and it'd be cool if that could get added. So yeah, let's hide that away. Oh, big Starla.
Lori,
Yay.
it's a huge AI. Yes, and eRank has had an AI tool for a couple months now, the listing helper tool. Essentially, what we're doing is taking a brief description of one of your items that you give to us. You type it in, and it works based on, just like any other AI tool. But we're able to craft for you a nice title and a description that you're definitely going to want to look over because it's not
Yes.
perfect. Sometimes it'll add details about your item that aren't there, like on a beautiful silver chain or something. But yeah, that tool's been there a while. We can just incorporate that cool eRank AI tool into other tools as well, but use it as a springboard for your ideas. It's not going to do the work for you.
Yeah, AI is wonderful, but it's not as good as you hope it is.
Yeah.
So I use it like someone to throw ideas off. When you don't have ideas, it gets you started. You should be finishing up and doing the things yourself, always checking over it, rewriting it, but it just gets you over that little bit at the start.
Yeah.
Apparently, Starla's on the right side of the computer, on the left side of the TV. Laurie, you must be having lag or something because I've switched her over.
And someone had asked if they can use that now or if it's been added yet. Not yet.
Not yet. No, Anthony gave us permission to tease this. So we're teasing this, which is just to show this is something we've been talking about for a while. It's gone through so many different changes and things. And yeah, Anthony's constantly like, can I release it now? And we're like, yeah, it'd be so cool if you would add this thing. So it's entirely our fault. But yeah, it's looking cool. And oh, I'm clicking the wrong things. And at the minute in time, yes, I believe it will just be for Chrome.
That's what Jessica had said, that I didn't know that actually.
Yeah, browsers are all their own different little pains in the backside, but yeah. So far I don't know much about these kind of things, but yeah, it's working for Chrome just now, and I think it's looking pretty good. We've been playing around with it for a couple of weeks now.
I mean, longer than that, right? Because we got our first access several months ago, and Anthony wanted to roll it out, and we told him no.
No.
They're like, no, we want more. It's our fault.
Yeah.
Lori Ann had asked a good question, though, that I wanted to point out because it's probably the question that I've heard the most over the last few weeks, and it's whether or not eRank's going to get an email service like Everbee just did. So I actually talked to Anthony about this because so many people had asked me. Anthony said that if enough people are interested in it, that we will look into it. You just need to make sure that you hit the blue feedback button, or I guess it's not feedback anymore, but the little blue chat button in the bottom right-hand corner of your eRank screen when you're logged in, and maybe, make a suggestion there. However, here's my thought process on it. Okay. And this is me speaking as Starla, and, then maybe Pam can speak as Pam, and we can decide what we think. So this is my opinion, separate from Anthony's. I think it's really cool that Everbee added an email marketing service. However, there are already big brands who have been doing this for years that are free. What value could eRank add to that equation, aside from incorporating in a tool that isn't necessarily in our wheelhouse? I would think what I would rather see for eRank, and again, this is me personally, all the money that it would take to start something like that, I dare say I would rather see it go into more data, because I feel like as an SEO company, really, really buckling down on the thing that we're good at, which is data. I dare say that, you guys probably agree. Being able to get more data, incorporate in more marketplaces, and expanding, I feel would be a better use of company money, as opposed to doing something that you guys could do on MailChimp.com with a free subscription up to 500 email list subscribers. I would love to see more data for that amount of money, because email marketing is a completely different thing than Etsy SEO. But like I said, that's just me. Anthony is willing to look into it if enough people request it. So, Pam, what's your opinion on that?
Just hearing about this just now, I don't actually look at other tools and stuff
I don't
anymore.
either.
Yeah, so busy. And I will say, in general, just to point out, we're not having a go at Laurie. This is a fine question,
Oh
but
yeah,
in
yeah,
general, we
absolutely.
don't like to talk about other tools because they're not here to defend
Exactly.
themselves, basically. And yeah, we don't want to just copy loads of other tools. That's not what we're about. eRank leads, um, basically. But for a mailing list, I can see why people would like the idea of that. Um, I suppose something would have to be very simple. And that's the problem, is we have so many different levels of users. Like, everybody's got different experience levels, and everyone's from different countries, and the legalities of these things will be different in different countries. So that, like Starla says, that's probably got a whole lot more going into it, because if eRank did it, Anthony would want to, Starla would want to, I would want, all of us in the team would want to make sure that this was like a completely legal, nobody was going to get into trouble doing it. So, and I don't think any of us know all the laws all around the world for something like that. So it would be a big deal. I think Starla's talked me into email marketing being a bigger deal than I thought it was. It definitely is still happening, and it's something people should look into. But it is kind of reinventing the wheel when MailChimp is pretty good by
Yeah, and
itself.
Aweber is already an approved Etsy integration. If you wanted one that connected with Etsy, I've seen a couple people mention that, because MailChimp isn't going to connect to Etsy, but Aweber does. And if you go into your Etsy integration section in your shop manager on the left-hand side and you click integrations, we're in there. But Aweber is also in there for email marketing. So that's also an option. It's just not one that I personally use, because I find MailChimp to be a lot easier. And I like their interface better, and they're free up to 500 users. So
Free is my favorite. Yes.
yeah. And again, Lori, you had said, is there data showing if eRank is better than Everbee? That's up for you guys to decide. Essentially, any SEO company that you use is relying on third-party data for things like keyword search volumes, whereas some of the things that you get to explore in eRank come from Etsy's API. Or if you've got like your Google Analytics hooked up to our traffic stats tool, then obviously that's coming from Google Analytics. But any Etsy SEO tool is going to work with third-party data. We know about ours. We have a fantastic third-party service that Anthony hand selected. He went through a vetting process to make sure that the data that we have received is ethically sourced. It's not taken from people who don't know that their data is being, taken. And he pays an astronomical amount of money for us to have the amount of data that we get each month. The data is the most accurate that I think that, we could possibly get, in terms of, having a decent average. But we don't know who the other services use for their third parties. It's going to completely depend. But like Pam always says, it's just like how TV ratings, used to be collected. It's kind of the same process, where there is some third party who observes the user habits of millions and millions of people. We just happen to get the results that they collect through those millions and millions of people. And with that data, you can get a decent average for what the average shopper is searching for.
Yeah, and with any tools, anything you do, there's going to be like loads of tools to help you. So the tool that works for you is the best one for you, and there will be some people who love and get really good results from one tool, and one person who loves a totally different tool. I will say this Sidekick's going to be blooming amazing. So because it's built by Etsy shop owners and data nerds like ourselves who've been tweaking at all this, and hopefully, a lot of these things Anthony puts into beta for you guys if you want to test on it and give ideas too. So yeah, if eRank's not working for you, tell us the things that are, and we'll look into it, like this idea of an email list thing. We'll look into it, but obviously we can't. I was going to say we can't add everything else would be a massive tool. We already are a massive tool because we keep on adding loads of things that are hopefully really cool. But yeah, we want to make sure that it's all helpful things.
Absolutely. And congruent things, It's like you don't go to McDonald's to get a gourmet steak. You don't go to the gourmet steak restaurant to go get a McDonald's cheeseburger. Data is what we do. I love using in my with my students. I talk about how Colgate, like the toothpaste company, they made frozen lasagna dinners, and you can Google it. If you Google Colgate frozen dinners, you'll find the picture of that Colgate, like the same logo on the toothpaste.
Ooh,
On
yeah,
frozen
that sounds
dinners.
gross.
and it was just it was just lasagna. There was nothing that made it. It wasn't minty lasagna. It wasn't toothpaste lasagna.
No,
Colgate.
not lasagna's the worst idea because you've got that white sauce in it that's just
Oh.
toothpaste like.
No.
No.
Yeah. But it wasn't in their wheelhouse. So I dare say that, like Brian had pointed out, the big ones like MailChimp, Aweber, MailerLite, all of those already have the local law for each location lockdown. It's dangerous to
Yeah.
make a mistake. And it is. GDPR laws, CAN-SPAM Act. The United States is starting to, especially like California. There's a couple other states that are following suit. They're getting more strict with their email marketing laws. And if you mess up, I mean, that there's just such risk that comes with data protection. And right now, I don't feel like we know enough about these laws as a company to be able to confidently execute something like that, especially when it comes to your guys' customers' data.
Yeah. I just wanted Laurie added a little extra to her question that we can sort of answer, saying, I was just wondering if anyone had gotten data to see how each ranks between eRank and the other countries, seen as your data people. Yep, you can go and have a look on eRank under sites. You can go to compare sites and you can type in erank.com and then any of the other sites you want to compare and hit compare, and that'll show how all these sites compare to each other around the world. You can pick UK, US, and some other places. I've been doing this, having a look at how Etsy's doing compared to eBay and Amazon and stuff as well. But yes, you can use the sites to compare sites and see. I haven't compared eRank to anyone for a wee while, but yes, you totally can.
I think Anthony takes care of that for us. he sits and does that comparison.
Yeah.
Because every time I get in a call with him, he's always like pointing out like who's falling, who's rising. He does that with all websites, though. I think that he's interested in. He's just one of those people who, anytime he's like, "Oh, this website's cool. What do they look like? What do they look like compared to us?"
Yeah, he likes seeing things like that. That is why we've got the sites page on eRank, mainly for Anthony.
Yep, so he can play with it. Trish had asked, do we have an ETA for when the Sidekick will be ready for us? We never have an ETA on anything.
Nope. It's looking good. It's running well, but seriously, these kind of things is Anthony could waken up tomorrow and say it's looking great, launch. Probably it's not likely tomorrow, but we do get surprised sometimes as well. So
I didn't.
yeah,
Yeah,
Anthony's terrible at sitting on really cool tools. He wants to get them out to you guys. So
I didn't even notice the updates to the listing audit until I logged in, and I was like, whoa, I didn't know that this was rolling out already.
yeah, well, that's a big chunk because I've got to make the video for what's been updated for the past month. So I've just gone through all that with Trish for the newsletter, and there's a lot this month that I hadn't seen half of as well. And they're cool when you get to know them. And one
Yeah.
that just came out last night, which was a surprise. It came that this was one we didn't know was coming out like yesterday. Is the was it similar keywords in the keyword tool?
Yeah.
If you haven't seen that, we do have a video up on here. And when you're done with this, just pop over and check that rather than me try and explain what that's all about just now.
Absolutely. And that'll be our most recent upload. So it should be right on the channel page. But you guys have probably noticed that over the last few weeks, we've been sprucing up the entire website. We've still got some major changes coming to the dashboard. The listing audit looks completely different. We're going to be working. I just had a meeting with Anthony about the track changes tool and some of the things that I think would make that tool more effective. And we're taking a lot of your guys' feedback. So don't be afraid to click that little blue button that's down in that bottom right-hand corner of your eRank screen when you're logged in, because that connects to our team who will make sure that we, especially if we notice that you guys are asking repeatedly for the same thing. If a lot of people want the same thing or the same improvements made, that tells us that that's the thing that we should prioritize. But you guys will probably notice a lot of changes over the next few weeks. If anything looks wonky or we make a change that you don't like, be nice, because the people you're talking to in the chat aren't the ones who are developing. But definitely click that little chat button and send those messages over, because we need that information. We need that feedback. When there's this many people working together on a tool, we could have one person who is a developer, but who's never owned an Etsy shop. They're just great at developing awesome tools. And maybe that person didn't realize that there's some glaring issue that makes the tool not great for Etsy sellers, and they wouldn't have known that. So you guys have the power to shape how these tools are going to look and how they're going to work.
Absolutely. There's so many things that come from feedback. Like we're not just saying that. Like every bit of feedback pretty much goes to Anthony, and if he can see value, he puts it in. If it'll help even one person, it pretty much goes in. But yeah. So
Well,
yeah, have a look around eRank, see what's changing. Give it when there's slight design changes and things. I know the first time you open something, you're like, "Ooh, that's different. Don't like that." Give it a day or so, and then let us know. Because I'm the same. I look and go, "Oh, that's disgusting," and then like, "Oh no, actually, that's really easy on the eye. I like that."
yeah. All right. Let's see. Marissa, I will get to your comment in just a second, but I wanted to get to, is your name Rachie? Like Rachel? Rachie? Let's see. I still don't know how to write a good title. I have good eRank keywords, but should it be a run-on, or should they all be separated by commas? So really the answer is to test both. Etsy tells us that short descriptive titles are what customers like to see, and that if keywords need to be separated out, you can really separate out your keywords however you want. Commas are fine if you want to separate them. That way it doesn't just look like one big run-on sentence. I've seen success with long, crazy keyword stuff titles. I've seen success with short descriptive titles. The only way to know for sure what's going to work for you based on your target audience and how they perceive those titles, because really the algorithm doesn't care either way. It's how your customers are looking at that title and whether or not they're turned off by a big run-on sentence. The only way to know that for your specific type of product and your specific target audience is to test them. So experiment. You can always do A/B split testing where you have your listing, but you make a copy of it and compare them side by side over the course of a few weeks. Use our track changes tool. If you go to your active listings tab, in the listing, menu, you can push a little button right on there that says track changes on that page of all your listings. Do that about a week before you make the copy of the listing, or before you make any SEO changes, just so you have some baseline data to compare to. But then go back and take a peek at how those changes have affected your views, favorites, and sales. That's another tool that we're going to be making some changes, but it's really a tool that I think that we don't talk about enough, because I personally think that it is one of the most helpful tools that we have.
Absolutely. I've loved it since we got it, and A/B testing is so powerful, but not many people do it. Or the people that what a lot of people do when they're making changes, it's almost like, and I've been here, I'm sure most people have been here, you make a change and you check it the next hour and the next day and whatever. You're looking for changes that quickly. But unless you have a massive shop that's making thousands of sales a day, which if you are, you're probably not sitting here right now listening to us. So unless you have that massive, massive shop, changes aren't going to be that quick. If you have a single listing that's making a couple of sales a month or something, you make a change to it. If you make 3 sales the next month, you've gone up like a massive amount, but you might not feel it because you've made a change and you want your shop to suddenly blow up. So you've got to look at the bigger picture. We make changes to things and let it run for a while. And I know it's so frustrating. I have definitely, on all sorts of websites, Etsy, YouTube, everything, I've done the thing and I'm like, right, blow up. I wish to go viral now, world. Thank you. And sadly, it just doesn't work like that for most of us. But yeah, and there's some videos on this channel about making titles and tags and finding your keywords and everything. And in the Facebook group, there's always people to help. But like Starla says, there's no right and wrong way. It depends on what your customers like. Make sure the important thing is find yourself a couple of superstar keywords that describe your item that you're aiming for and make sure they're in your title. One thing I don't think we mention enough, I'm just thinking this because I've been doing a lot of shopping and there's a lot of confusing going on. It has to describe your item. I was looking for lipsticks the other day and I found one, and there's no variations in this. This is one lipstick. And in the title, it was matte lipstick, velvet lipstick, lip gloss, lip oil. I'm like, you cannot be all of those things. You've just found keyword, So your keywords have to be what your item is. Because I'm not going to click on that and go, oh, I wonder if it is the thing I wanted. I'm going to go to the next one that tells me, oh, you are the thing that I wanted. So yes, find keywords, put them in your title. You can try broken up with commas. You can try a full sentence. Etsy doesn't really penalize you for either way. It's how your customers like the look of it and how easy it is for them to read.
Yeah. She had also asked if there was somewhere in eRank where she can get help with titles. Yeah, that's our listing helper tool within the listings tab. That is our AI tool. Pop in the keywords that you've done your research on and give a little description of your product. You might need to rearrange things, especially if you're wanting to like exact match for a superstar keyword. Sometimes you have to rearrange the title that the tool provides. It is AI. It's not perfect. It doesn't know exactly, the order that you want your keywords to be in, but it can help you to, it can help to give you a good start. And then you just have to go in and kind of tweak things.
Exactly. It stops you having a blank page. And the other cool thing it does is, for me, it's out of the box keyword research, helping you with different ideas for tags, which is even better because you can get stuck in a rut if you made lipsticks, for instance, only thinking of, like you'd say, oh, I've made this lip gloss, and you can't think of anything other than lip gloss. What is it? But if you take it to this, the listing helper, the AI comes up with whole loads of different ideas.
Cosmetic.
Yeah, it's very clever, but also, as Starla says, we will keep on saying, the human has to go in and correct the AI. You have to look and pick out the things that are relevant for you. It doesn't know what your listing is. It doesn't understand stuff. It's just giving you ideas.
All right. Marissa, I'm going to go ahead and do yours. And then I got to grab Abigail's comment over on Facebook. I completely forgot all about her. So I'll grab that after this. But Marissa had asked, how often is the data in eRank updated? So, your search volumes are going to be updated every single month. We're pretty good now about getting them in around the first of the month and getting that data imported in after we remove all the naughty, dirty searches that those dirty bird Etsy shoppers type in. But you can find them. They're just in the 18 plus category over in the in the trend buzz. We also have the hot bar, or the hot tab. It is the little button with a flame on it right at the top of your screen. And with that, you can actually filter and see what was most searched on Etsy yesterday, or, the types of products that were hot yesterday. So that could be a useful tool if you want, especially when it comes to trends and keeping an eye on trends. I find that to be very useful. But in terms of your keyword research, we update that at around the first of every month.
Yep, and the rest of the data, like if you've connected your Google Analytics, that is almost real time, I believe. It's pretty quick anyway. And if you've things like your shop data, your listings and everything, just hit the orange refresh data button on eRank and we'll pull in any changes that you've made to your Etsy shop. So that's updated as often as you want it to be, basically.
All right, I'm going to grab Abigail's comment from our early bird post yesterday, and then I'll get back to the YouTube chat. She had asked, I'll soon be opening a second shop. When you open a new shop, does it show the date of the shop, or that the shop opens? Not the exact date. It shows the year that your shop opened. We show you the date, don't we? Don't we show how long your shop's been open?
Yes, I'm pretty sure in top shops. Yeah. In the competition tab, if you look for a shop there, you'll see the date it opened, I believe.
Yeah, I don't think that, because it used to show you at the very top of your shop when you opened, but now I believe that it's only down right beside your about section. It'll show the year that you opened, but I don't think it shows the exact date anymore. I think that Etsy took that away.
Yep, I think there was more to that question. I remember I read it before. I think
She
I
asked
don't
if
have.
I did something to set up to get
Yeah,
the current year to show, and if it's possible to do that.
yeah. I think the question is more. Although that was also a cool answer that we can't get the full date anymore. But another point is, if you already have a shop, like I opened my shop in 2008, but I've opened another shop more recently, and that shop doesn't say 2008. That says when I opened it. And the reason for this is when you open a new shop, sadly, you also have to open a new Etsy account with a new email. So you are opening a brand new account that is opened on that date. It's an absolute pain. I don't know why on Etsy we can't have more than one shop under your account. But yeah, if you haven't opened a second account yet and you're planning to, you're going to have to open, it's basically a brand new buyer account and then attach a shop to it. You can use the same paying information, the same bank accounts, but you'll need a different email, which I know is a pain for many. So I'd look into your email provider and see if you can use aliases in your email provider, which is having different emails that all go to the same place. Because if you're like me, you don't need more emails to keep track of.
Oh, we don't? Oh, I've got like 6 inboxes.
I've probably got about, I have no idea how many, but many of them are only checked couple of times a year, I think, if I'm honest.
Oh, oh yeah, the one where all the bills go and the spam and the marketing from brands I bought from
Yeah.
once. Yeah. All right, let's see. Emma had asked, all the keywords I search for are either low search, low competition, or high search, high competition. Any tips on finding high search, low competition? Right now, I barely get a handful of views a day. So if there was a big list on eRank every single month with all of the keywords that had high searches and low competition, all of the eRank users would use those keywords, and then those keywords would quickly all have very high competition. So really the answer is you've got to dig. And I know that that sucks. And it's a pain in the butt, but you've got to think that it's a pain in the butt for your competitors as well. You have to think a little bit abstractly, though. There might be ways to describe your product that you're not even thinking of. It might be a good idea to post a photo of one of, hello, it might be good to post a photo of one of your products and see if, maybe anybody in the eRank group can think of some additional keywords, or you could say, how would you describe this product? What keywords come to mind if you were shopping for this type of product? And doing that can give you a different perspective, because then you're hearing from other people who might also be your target customers, the way that they would shop for something similar.
Yeah, and that's another place for the listing helper tool on eRank to think of different things. But a handful of views a day, I don't know how long you've been open for, but that's not unusual. It's not unusual to struggle to find the right things to start with. The trick is to experiment with kind of all the keywords. Don't fear the high competition ones. You might not rank for them yet, but you might one day, or you might rank for a longer tail version of those high competition. The low competition ones, what can happen is if you do really well for them, then your listing quality score starts to build up and it starts to snowball, and you do a little better, you rank a little for more competitive keywords. And the other thing, that the big thing, right, you've got what you make. And we all have things that we make. You've got an idea, you make something. But another thing to do with keyword research is don't make the thing yet. Do the keyword research first and try and find a wee gap in the market. Try and find that one thing that is slightly a bit different. So look, if you make rings, you make wire wrapped opal rings. I don't know if that's a thing, but you make this thing, instead of just typing in wire wrap opal ring into the keyword tool and trying to find tags out of that, type ring into the keyword tool, look through it all and see, what can I make that has interesting looking keywords there, that's still in the lines of what you make, but is there a gap in the market that nobody else is filling just now? That's another way to do it. But
Yeah, it's not putting the cart before the horse. That's what we did with our, brand new shop. I am a person who loves to read fantasy books, and I frequently purchased a lot of products themed around those fantasy books on Etsy, and I noticed that a lot of them said officially licensed in the titles. And I started looking into it, and I realized that the authors that I like to read offer official licensing so that you can sell these items legally. Well, then before I started developing anything, I went into eRank and I started typing in the names of those books and the names of those authors. And I started looking at the types of products that were doing well. Reading blankets. A blanket is a blanket, to me, but apparently people like to search for blankets specifically for cuddling up on the couch and reading. Candles for different scenes in the books. You could get a candle for if you're reading a book that takes place in a swamp, or if you were reading, and you're in a dungeon, there is a special candle with that smell. And there are people who will light their candles based on where they're at in their stories. There's so many creative ways. Whereas if you're just trying to sell candles, you're not going to stand out. There's how many sellers make candles on Etsy? But if you're the person who makes ambient candles for, a specific fantasy book so that you can smell the sexy main character, and this is exactly what he smells like, it's just such a fun way to develop your products, because that there's demand there. And I know that, instinctively, especially when we're crafters, we want to create what we like to make but that's the difference between the hobbyist mindset and the business mindset. I did the hobbyist mindset for probably 5 or 6 years, had a lot of fun with it. Now I'm a little bit more strategic about how I do things. And because of that, our shop is taking off. At a decent rate for the time it's been open. So like Pam said, start with something basic and use eRank tools to not just help your keyword strategy, but to decide what you ultimately want to make.
Yeah, it's the big, powerful one, but it's difficult. As an artist, you want to make what you want to make, but you also want to pay your bills. So it's good. You can have a mix of these things in your shop. You can have these keyword gap in the market things to bring people in to build up a following. If your other things that you want to make do fit in with the niche of what you're doing, but you haven't necessarily found the keywords, people will find you for them. Eventually they'll come into your shop. But it's harder to do it the other way around. It's harder to make something and then try and keyword research it. I am also off to search for swampy dungeon candles now.
Swampy dungeon candles. There's almost every like romance book I read. If I get on Etsy, I can usually find a candle that matches the scent of the male main character. So
Wow, that is crazy.
yeah. I
A
think the
little
authors are
creepy.
writing in very specific descriptions of how these men smell just so that Etsy sellers will license with them and make the candles.
So maybe you should, like, we could go even a step further back. Befriend the author. Tell them what candle you're planning to make and get them to write their main character to smell like their candle.
Exactly. Maybe that's the author's plan all along, and they want a specific smell for their own house, and they know people will send them that candle.
Brilliant.
All right. Maureen had asked, can you explain the Etsy competition column when using the keyword tool? I'm just trying to understand how to, I'm assuming, interpret the data.
Yep. The competition is that this data comes directly from the Etsy API, and it is the amount of other sellers that you would be competing against in that country for that keyword. Well, not sellers, the number of listings in that country for that keyword.
Yeah.
I mean, don't try and look at it exactly because of how Etsy works. It's minus adverts and obviously minus personalizations and things. So the number comes exactly from Etsy. It won't be an exact match what you see on Etsy because they've got adverts and things too.
Yeah. Let's see. I had really bad mock-ups and last week I revamped all of them to be very realistic. Let's see. Should I leave them alone or should I make duplicates, delete the old listings to refresh? Don't delete the old listings. Those listings are still great. They've probably got some history, especially if they've ever sold. You don't want to lose those listing quality scores that you've built because those are likely helping you to rank. If the old photos weren't bringing you any sales at all, or not a lot of traffic, I mean, they're probably, especially if it's like a significant difference, you're probably safe to go ahead and change them. Your photos themselves don't have any effect on your search ranking or the algorithm. What really matters is how customers perceive those photos. And sometimes we think that we've got a photo that looks way better, but customers still prefer the old crappy one that you had before. So I would change them if those listings aren't, getting a ton of traffic anyway, because there's already not a lot of risk there. If you've got a couple listings that are already doing well, proceed with caution. You can duplicate those listings if you wanted and add in the new photos to the new listing and test them. Just be careful, but there's no algorithmic, penalty for changing your thumbnails. It's really all about how customers perceive that listing, because your customers, and people in search, when they find your listing and they start positively interacting with it, so finding it, favoriting it, buying it, leaving good reviews, these are all things that tell Etsy that they should show that listing to more people. If you were to upload a photo that the people just didn't particularly care for and they stopped clicking on it, well, that might make it seem like the algorithm penalized you, but in reality, it was a direct result of people just not wanting to interact with that listing anymore.
Absolutely. And the customer decides what's a good picture. You might think your latest ones are the best in the world, but customers just might not like them because customers are funny things. So this is a good thing to A/B test or to test across different listings. The only thing I don't know what it is that you make, but with anyone with mockups, make sure you're checking the Etsy policies for what we're allowed to use as mockups or not. It's
Yeah.
I can't talk too much on what the rules are there, but check them and see.
Etsy themselves basically said that mockups need to be of the exact item. So it is okay to use a mock-up, for example, of a t-shirt, but you can't use a mock-up for a Gildan t-shirt if you're selling a Bella canvas. It needs to be the exact brand and the exact item that they're receiving. So if you're using, for example, Canva's smart mock-ups for a mug, that's not going to be the same as having a mock-up of the exact mug from your print provider, or taking the photo yourself, or using a service like Place It, who has specific brands where, you know, you can get a Gildan sweatshirt mock-up, for example.
Yeah, so everybody just beware of that
Yeah.
thing. Etsy, Tor understanding Etsy are looking into the cracking down on this a bit more. And it makes sense. If you go on some of the other websites, you can see 200 identical dresses with all sorts of different patterns, and you're like, I wonder what would really turn up if I ordered that. So
Yeah.
that's what they don't want.
Yeah. And I did want to, we don't have any more questions right now, and we've got about 10 minutes. So if you guys have a couple more to get us through to the end, let us know. But I did want to go ahead and mention, I saw an official email from Shine On Jewelry that they sent out to all of their vendors, basically stating that their jewelry specifically, which Shine On, you know, you could customize the jewelry and sell it as a POD product and have like engraved watches and things like that. Those types of products are no longer allowed on Etsy. Same with anything where you're only customizing the backing card for the jewelry. So if you have any products like that, Shine On is recommending that you just go ahead and deactivate them from your shop. Shine On also provides what do they provide? They provide some other I don't know if it's like shirts or mugs. There's something else that they also provide besides jewelry that is still allowed, but the jewelry specifically for print on demand, you are no longer allowed to sell on Etsy.
Oh, I hadn't heard that. I'm glad they've cleared that up. I tried to message Etsy a few times and they wouldn't tell me either way. So it's good it's clarified. I know a few of our people did use Shine On things. So yeah, it's important to check in with that.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And that's been ongoing for the last few years. And I believe that Shine On they're going to be actually disabling the like integration that they have within their own system that allows you to connect those jewelry products directly to your Etsy shop. They're just going to disable that altogether. That way there's no risk of a seller misinterpreting what they're actually allowed to do. But they are recommending that any sellers that still have those items in their shop go ahead and deactivate them, which, you know, the products, I understand it. I do understand it, because especially for the ones where you're only customizing the backing card, you know, that's the packaging. That would
Yeah.
be like you bought something up at the store, but then you put it in a pretty box that you colored. You know, it's not quite the same, and it's not really fair for the handmade artists who are creating
It
their
was pushing the Etsy rules for sure. I'm glad that, and I'm actually impressed. Shine On's doing that's a very ethical way to treat their customers. So yeah, well
yeah.
done.
Yeah, I thought that was really nice that they sent out that email. And especially since we can't get a solid answer from Etsy, they were able to get one and publish that out. But if you use Shine On, you likely have an email in your inbox. So just be sure to read over it. I'm just kind of, you know, phrasing it based on what I've seen posted of people who have screenshot their emails, but make sure you read over it yourself.
Absolutely, yes. But yeah, well, good to know. And for anyone who's doing anything similar, it'd be worth looking into that, making sure that you're doing everything right by Etsy.
Yeah. Let's see, Ruth Marie. I've tried a couple of times to link eRank to Google Analytics. I was using the eRank tutorial, but no success. I don't get the same prompts that eRank gives. Are there any other tutorials out there? So I just did this on last Wednesday. I had the same issue. Everything that Anthony showed in the video wasn't matching up with my screen. And I think that he's already aware of this because I know that he is talking about working on a step-by-step tutorial to explain how to do it. As of right now, nothing that I was able to find on YouTube explained how to do it. I went back to my channel and watched the old video that I made to set up universal analytics. And then I just ignored all the part about, universal analytics, and it worked. So technically, if you were to search Starla Moore Google Analytics, you would find my video on it, but you just have to be aware that all of the parts when you're setting it up about universal analytics are no longer applicable. We're on to Google Analytics 4. But in terms of the setup process and the things that you're supposed to enter while claiming your properties, that was all the same.
Oh, right. So, yeah, everything's changed from when Anthony showed us.
Yeah.
Oh, that's such a pain. And Starla, as a YouTuber person, you should have recorded all of that for us.
I thought about it, but I was fumbling around, so confused. I was actually going to record it, but I didn't know what I was doing. And I didn't feel confident about giving advice when I barely knew what I was doing. So I figured I'd wait till Anthony does it.
Yeah, Anthony's really good at doing these things anyway. So hopefully he'll get something soon.
Yeah. Let's see. What happens if you change your price from your listing with the people that have the product in their shopping cart? Nothing. The price just goes up. They might, if they use those little shopping extensions, like, I don't know if Honey does it, but there are some browser extensions that will tell you and send you an alert if the items in your cart have changed prices recently. So if they have some type of, browser extension installed that does that, they might get an alert, but the average shopper isn't going to get any type of notification that a price has changed. And really, even if people have those items in their carts, if you need to up your prices, don't worry about the people who have it in their cart already. You've got to make big decisions for your brand, especially if you need to increase those prices to be able to keep up with demand. It's better to just pull that Band-Aid off and do it.
Yeah, and the price will go up for those people that have it in the cart. Putting it in the cart doesn't freeze the price. So yeah, do what you need to with your prices. And the 1 in a million people that message you to complain, that it doesn't happen very often, but if people do, sorry, you should have just bought quicker, basically.
Yeah, exactly. Why were they procrastinating with it?
Yeah.
Let's see. Your laughing made me start giggling, which ticked the cat off. She's plopped on my chest. And,
oh, cool.
Let's see, Ruth Marie. That's wonderful if Anthony is doing this. I was feeling like an idiot. Sorry you had that frustration, but
Not
I'm glad
with
I'm
Google.
not alone.
Yeah. Google Analytics is a nightmare. That's
hate
why we did the integration into eRank, because you only have to figure out this connecting it up. Literally, it's funny that Starla says about having to go back with her old videos, because with the Universal Analytics, I made a video on my channel of how to get all the data. Absolutely. I mean, it's on my channel, it's there for everybody else. But the main reason for it was every time I went on, I would go back and watch my video to remind myself how to do it, because it's so blooming complicated. So.
Yeah, I do it too. There are so many times when I got to go back and watch one of my own tutorials, because when you work with as many tools as we do, sometimes you forget all the mechanics of them. So you go to the best version of yourself. Let's see. Oh, and Rachie, that's cute. Let's see, how often do you guys have these live sessions? We do them every Thursday at 3 p.m. Eastern, same time, same place. So as long as you're subscribed to our channel, then you should get notifications actually that we're going live. But if not, just set yourself an alarm. And let's see. And Pam, I just want to say I love how you say eats.
Oh.
You should make merch, Pam. You've got your shelf under your YouTube videos. Why don't you
Make merch.
It's Etsy? Is that copyright? Etsy?
I don't think that goes against their brand, does it?
No, it's your own word. You made it up.
I've actually had a nightmare with that. Myself and Starla have been talking about an AI thing that clips down videos to make short videos, and it puts text to speak. It puts your pop-up text on the screen and all the thing captions. There's the word. And I've met right on my channel. There's a few shorts. Go and have a look at how many times I missed changing Etsy with an A back to Etsy. I just put them up and I went through and I edited them all, and then every time I watch it back, it's like missed another one.
That's okay. The subtitles on those videos go so fast you don't even notice.
Oh, you absolutely do, because they always highlighted as well. It's like, let's do it in orange. Look, and it's like, if you know it should be capitalized, you know it should be bright orange, you know how you should be spelling it. Stop this.
That's hilarious. Yeah. That's the glory of AI tools. They're not always going to know context. So,
yeah.
All right, guys. Well, I would be a fool not to announce that my coaching program will be opening tomorrow. That is unaffiliated with eRank. That's just Starla Moore representing Starla Moore. However, one of the awesome benefits that you get of that is you get 12 months of eRank Pro. And if you currently already have a paid eRank account, I just take over your payments for the next 12 months. So you get a little free ride. If you currently use basic, then you get to bump up to pro. If you currently use expert, I don't take over expert plans, but I don't know how many people actually use the expert plan other than Pam and myself. But I will take over pro payments and bump basic payments up to pro. And yeah, if you're interested in checking that out, you can go to joinhaa.com. We'll be opening at midnight Eastern time tonight. So that's going to be a lot of fun. Very excited. I'm going to be a completely different human being. Actually, you know what, Pam? I won't be here next Thursday for Q&A because we have critique day that day.
All right. Yes.
We do critique week. So you might have to recruit Brian again.
Yeah, you do all this and then you have your critique week.
I know. And my voice will be dead.
So, Brian, fancy joining? Because I will forget by next week. Who is in here? Or well, guys, do you want Brian back again? Just let us know. No, Brian was in last week. If you didn't see the live, he did awesome. So hopefully everyone wants him back. But yeah, pop over to Starla HAA and see as well. I know so many people have totally enjoyed everything in Starla's HAA. There's so much that you give away with that as well. So yep.
You get HAA, you get your eRank Pro, but there's an amazing photography coach. I talk about her with you guys all the time. Christina Nicole. I highly recommend going and subscribing to her YouTube channel. It's just by Christina Nicole. She is a fantastic product photography coach. She's just like Pam and I in that she has a great YouTube channel where she gives so much information away for free. But my students also get her product photography essentials workshop included with their enrollment. If you have any questions about product photography, like I said, I highly recommend going and subscribing to her channel because she's absolutely phenomenal and her brand integrity is just great. She really cares about the people that she serves, which is why I love working with her. She's great. So guys, thanks so much for hanging out. It sounds like everybody wants Brian back, so you might have to
good love for Brian there. Yep.
Awesome. All right, guys. Thanks so much for hanging out. And Pam, we'll see you next week. And for everybody in the chat who's talking about HAA, I guess I will see you guys probably tomorrow during my late live stream during the Friday Bean.
Yep. See you later, guys.
Bye.